Hello, and welcome back to Solo in Seattle podcast. This episode is going to get real good. My cousin Tina, she's going to be stepping in, and she gave me the topic of fake friends. Season 2, episode 4 is going to be talking about her experience with those fake friends. But let's ask yourself, have you ever realized some people are not only around when it's convenient for them? Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about fake friends, flaky energy, and the ones who only show up when they need something. We're unpacking all of this in this episode. From the we should hang out crew that never follows through to the ones who can't clap for you when you're winning. I've seen it all. How do you spot them? How do you handle them? And when is it time to cut them off? It's time for some real talk. Tune in because we're about to get into it. Introducing my cousin, Tina. Hey, girl, hey.
Hello, how are you?
Good. So good to see you.
You too.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the podcast, obviously. I know we have been planning this since season 1. You have been more than happy, more than willing to support my journey and wanting to be a part of whatever I do.
It's always.
Always. Usually I tease it with, like, how do we know each other? But you've known me since before I was born, technically.
That would be a true fact, a true
Yeah,
fact.
we are second cousins, right? So you and mom are first cousins, and you and I are second cousins, but we're like sisters, I feel like.
We are. I think we
Yeah,
are. Yeah,
yeah.
I think I may be more closer to you than my real sister.
I think so because, I mean, you have actually been in my life physically probably for gosh, so when did we quote unquote meet, right? Because I mean, yes, we're cousins. Yes, we're family, but our family is wild. They're so separated. So your dad, no, yeah, your dad and my grandpa were brothers, right?
Yes, they were. Hmm.
That's right. All right. And then my mom and you are first cousins. Then you and I, did we meet at my grandmother's funeral?
We met
Or
originally met at, no, we originally met before then. I have pictures of you and Philip at Fun Fair Park when you guys were like little kids for Ian's, I think it was his fifth or sixth birthday, and you guys are on rides. And when I
that's
look at those
hilarious.
pictures, I'm like, wow, she has grown, she has changed, she is a woman now.
She is in her 40s now. Yes.
Looking
So
20, looking 20.
okay, thanks to the Botox. So remind me, when I used to live in Austin,
Mhm.
that's when we really kind of started connecting the most. And then I came to Dallas.
Yes.
Girl, wait. Remember, I was in that other drama relationship. Remember, we were out to eat and he was blowing up my phone, and I left him at the hotel.
Yes,
Didn't I sneak off to come meet you and he was
you
asleep
did.
or something?
Yes, exactly. I got
Yes, we were in Dallas, and you were like, "Girl, come out." And I was like, "Okay." I met you out. I think we
Yes,
started pre-gaming somewhere and lost track of time, and he woke up,
that phone
and
started blowing up.
girl, he could not find me in the dark, baby, with a flashlight. Oh, you know what? I was trifling.
We were
I
in
was
those
trifling.
streets. We
I
were
was
in those
trifling. That's
streets.
okay, though. You know what? He
It all
deserved it.
worked out, it all worked.
Then I moved to Seattle, and then remind me, have we seen each other since I've been in Seattle? No, I was in
Remember,
Dallas recently.
I
Wait,
synced up with you and your mom, when we went
in
remember when
Dallas
in
again.
Dallas, yes. We
Yeah. No, or what? No, it was Waco.
were in that area, went to
Girl,
that cute
whatever.
little shopping area during the Christmas
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Now that we've kind of built our timeline of how we know each other for the listeners, because we could go through like a whole
Or we could go
unimportant
through
family tree.
exactly.
Yeah, we're not.
Now that might be interesting to do one time.
I'm not interested in that, girl. I don't know them people.
Well, I don't wanna know those people.
I don't know the people. That's your people,
No,
girl.
I have my select few, my auntie Bobby, my cousin Hope. Yep, I got my
Yes.
select few.
Yeah, I'll take those 2 for 100. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Alright, so we're gonna talk about your fake friends, your personal experiences, and some storytelling, okay?
Alright, absolutely.
We are about to just take a deep dive in it because I love that you brought up this topic, and I think it's gonna resonate with a lot of people, and it might even start a whole series.
Yeah.
So, question number 1, have you ever had a fake friend?
Yes. Fake friends started for me back in high school, elementary school, and, I used to always think, "I'll get past high school, when I get in college, I'll find real friends," and we'll go to college together, we'll work, we'll have boyfriends, we'll get married, have families. But, from elementary school to college to, adult life, it hasn't changed. It's always those people that come in my life. They make me think they want the best for me or they want to be in that circle with me because they see what I'm doing at the time. But there's always an ulterior motive. And it's always taken me months, sometimes years, to see that that person was so fake. And it always starts with, "Oh my gosh, we should hang out. We got so much in common. I have family in Louisiana. Let's sync up." And I'm thinking, whenever you're not in at home, you always want to have that connection to somebody at home. So I'm thinking to
Mhm.
myself, "Oh, I'm all the way in California. I met some people from Louisiana. This is gonna be great."
Why is it always a lie? Why is it always a lie when you meet somebody that is from home?
I here's what I started to realize. So some of the people that, especially when I graduated from college and was living in California, a lot of the people that I was meeting from Louisiana, they knew my family, they knew my brothers, my sisters, they knew my friends, but they were never in that so-called clique with me.
Yeah.
So I guess they felt this was their opportunity. I can get to know her, get to see what she's about, blah, 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 get inside her family, find out how she really is.
Girl,
But the thing about it,
that honorary bloodline, I feel like people wanting to hop on that honorary bloodline is a true statement.
well, they want to jump on that honorary bloodline for so many different reasons. And for me, I mean, I love my family, I love my namesake, but I was an individual, and that's how I always wanted people to see me. But they never something like, "Oh, you're an honorary. Well, who's your
Yeah.
dad? Oh, I know your dad. Oh, is your uncle this? Is your uncle that? Oh, I know your aunt." It was never Tina.
Yeah.
So those people that I would meet, particularly the ones from Louisiana, they wanted to know me or they wanted to know my sister, or they wanted to get to know my brother who was the musician, that I was already in California and was already successful. So it was never about being my friend. But me, I'm one of those people. It's not that I ever go looking for friends, but when I get those people that I connect with, I automatically think that they're going to be a friend to me like I'm a friend to them. And it
Girl, so
never works out that way.
girl, when do you realize it though?
I realized in my senior year in high school. And I'll
No,
tell
I'm
you,
talking about even currently, right?
oh,
Modern day. Not even talking about high school because like I feel our younger years, they're all just kind of trying to
fake.
get by. Trying to get by, trying to establish yourself. I'm talking about as a woman, grown into her community, grown
Mhm.
into her network, grown into her career. How do you know when somebody is considered fake?
I moved from California to Dallas, and I already had friends here, or so I thought I already had friends here that I had known for over 15, 20 years. Okay. So when you move from another state, and you've done this, when you move from another state, you're just like, "Oh my gosh, just let me get my feet on the ground, get this new job started. I got a set of friends, somebody I can hang out with." I had this one friend, and it's crazy because I'm godmother to three of her children.
Mm,
And every time I needed something, every time I needed guidance in my job or potential, "Hey, I need help with something," she would always say, "Oh my God, let's sync up, let's meet. I'm here for you." And she'd been in the business like 40 years. She's like, "I'm here for you. Let me help you." I'd go to meet up with her, never showed up. Never showed up. If I said, "Hey, my daughter's graduating from college, she's looking for an internship, she's looking for a job." "Oh my gosh, I'll help you, I'll help you." Never came through. However, her kids, I always came through for. Helped them get internships, helped them get jobs, helped them find homes, helped them when they got married. And I realized one day, my husband told me one day, he said, "I know you think this person is your friend." He said, "But I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna hurt your feelings." I said, "What?" He said, "You are a better friend to her than she will ever be to you." He
oh,
said, "And
yeah.
in my eyes, from where I'm sitting, she's not your friend." And I
Mhm.
said, "Why do you say that?" He says, "I'll give you a couple examples." He said, "You were sick in the hospital." He said, "You had 3 tumors removed from your neck." I called her. She says, "Oh, I'm on my way. I'm coming to help. What do you need for the kids?" He said, "She never showed up." He said,
That's
"But the
rough.
friend that you had for 5 years, she was there every day doing things for
Mhm.
you." And it hit me right then. I started having these flashbacks. And when I tell you it hurt to know and think about all the things that I had done for. I was in your wedding, I was with you when your first kid was born, your second, your third, high school graduation, colleges, weddings, and she was never there for anything that's major in my life, ever.
So let me ask you, because those are all issues. But what was the biggest red flag that you think you ignored? Because it sounds like you kept giving chance after chance, right?
The biggest red flag that I ignored is when we were at an event together and we were doing this game, and somebody said, Tina, is there anybody in this room that you've been friends with for 20 years? Point them out and you guys stand side by side and you can tell stories about, how you've known each other for so long. And I said, absolutely. And I pointed at her and she was like, no. And I went, I've known you for 20 plus years. What do you mean no? She's like, well, we're not friends like that.
What?
When
Not
I
in
tell
public,
you,
girl.
when I tell you, my heart felt like somebody just put a knife in it.
Girl,
And
I had to sit back on that one.
no, I walked out of the room.
Yeah.
I walked out of the room because there was 3 other people in there that knew we were friends, and one of them came in the hallway and she said, "Did y'all have a falling out?" I go, "No." I
Yeah,
go, "But she's telling me right now that we're not the same type of friends, even
girl.
as long as we've known each other." And there's just, like, little things she started doing. She would call me up and say, "Hey, I know you got event planning. Can you help me with da da da?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, here's the cost. This is what you have to pay." She wouldn't pay.
So that's another thing. So friends in business, that's probably one of the biggest fake situations that you could
The
ever
worst thing
ever
ever.
encounter. I actually did a podcast interview yesterday with one of my girls. She's a major vendor here in the Seattle area. She does the world famous Seattle dogs. It's like a whole brand, a whole staple, And then you and your husband have the catering company. It's
Mhm,
McGaskey Catering, right?
mhm, yes.
And friends always think that they should be able to get something for nothing or that they are entitled for you to offer your services to them. And
Discounted.
discounted or free. And my girl Betty can tell you that every time I am in the city, in the downtown corridor, I call her and I'm like, "Where are you at?" And I always bring people with me and we
Right.
always pay.
But
She
that's
has
what you're
tried
supposed to do if you're a friend, you support their business.
she has tried and tried to give me free hot dogs.
Right.
I'm like, "You are outside working. This is your grind, this is your hustle." What I'm saying, right, is people have that misconception that just because you're doing well with the business,
That
that
they're supposed to get a discount or
that
something
they
for
should get
free.
a discount or they should get something for free, and people don't even realize the overhead costs, the loss that you suffer in business, the amount of money that you are actually
Mhm.
losing before you start winning.
Absolutely, and see, the same friend that I'm talking about, when we started our catering business, she always felt that if she sent customers to us, that she should get her food for free.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, "Nothing's for free, this is a business."
Right.
And she got upset with me. She got on social media and she said a couple of things, and I was like, "I cannot believe you're stooping to this level." And my husband, all he kept saying was, "I told you that's not your friend." He goes,
Yeah.
"And I know because you're connected to her children and those are your godchildren, you feel you owe some loyalty." So about 7 years ago, I just literally I cut her off at the quick. Now, I still with my godkids, but
Yeah.
I cut her off at the quick. And she, quote unquote, couldn't understand what happened. And I'm
They
like,
never do.
"What do you mean you don't know what
They
happened?"
never do.
I'm like, "I don't understand how you don't understand what happened." But
And that's
those
a
are the same friends, or she's one of those same friends that when I do well, she will never ever say, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, way to get the award. Oh my God, way to be, voted for woman of customer success." Like she would never ever do that, but she wants you to be there to cheer her, her kids, her husband, everybody on. And
and
no,
so let me just ask you, did this fake friend ever actually shock you with their betrayal, or were you expecting it?
no. She she shocked me about 5 years ago.
I was gonna say, how did it go down, girl?
About 5 years ago, we were at a wedding of a mutual friend, and my husband and I were having a great time. I'm talking to all my friends, blah, blah, blah. And out of the blue, she comes up to me and she taps me on my shoulder and she said, "I just want to let you know that you were never a real friend to me, which is why I never ever tried to help you with anything. You got my son fired from a job and blah, blah, blah." And I'm looking at her going, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I have no clue what you're talking about." But she did this in front of hundreds of people.
No,
Like,
girl.
she wanted a scene. It reminded me of, like, one of those Real, Housewives episodes.
Girl, she
She
could
she did
never.
it in front of everybody, and Amanda, I let her just unleash, and I stopped, and I looked at her, and I said, "I have no idea what you're talking about. If your son got fired, he got fired on his own." I said, "But since we're here talking about friendship, let me tell you how lack of a friend you've been." And literally everything that I had been holding in, I let it out, and my husband was like, bravo. He was
Yeah.
like, "There you go." He said, "You needed to get that off your chest." I told her, I said, "You've never been there for me. When my dad passed away, you didn't even pick up the phone and call me." And she knew my dad. I said, "When my grandmother passed away, you didn't pick up the phone. But when your mom called, you were like, 'Oh my God, you need to be here for me.'" Why?
Why?
It was such a lopsided relationship. And you know what's so weird about it? I actually felt guilty for some of the things that she used to tell me.
Always. Always. And that
But
is that
why is
manipulation.
that? But why is that?
Well, I mean, you know what? That moves into our next phase of the question of how do you spot a fake friend, right? The most common signs of a fake friend go.
Most common signs of fake friend is somebody that's trying to get in with you so fast. They want to do something for you. They want to be so buddy buddy with you. They want to go everywhere with you. They want to get so into your life so fast that you're thinking, "Oh my gosh, she's awesome." No,
It's
that's
the
not
equivalent of
awesome.
love bombing.
You know what? That's a good way of putting it.
It is.
Absolutely. And then when they want to connect with your kids, everybody thinks if I connect with your kids that I'm tied to you.
Yeah.
No. That's the last thing I let you into is my family. Because I have had friends get into my family and literally try to destroy my family.
And how are you able to tell if someone is just around for personal gain?
Normally, people that are around for personal gain, they try to latch onto the things that you are doing. It's like you're doing an awesome job with your podcast. It would be like me going, "Oh my gosh, Amanda, I have some great topics for you. But I want to be on this one and this one, and I just want to help you and help your podcast grow." And then you look up, and I'm on social media, tell everybody, "Oh my God, watch my podcast. I'm on here with Amanda." They're thinking it's my podcast. It's really yours. People that are always trying to insert themselves into what you have already successfully laid out. Like
Yeah.
they try to find that little niche or that little piece that they could slide into and say, "Oh my, but I helped you with that. I
Yeah.
helped you with that, Tina. I gave you that recipe. Remember when I was at your house and we were talking about my grandmother's lemon cake? Didn't you make that cake designed after my grandmother's lemon cake?" No, I didn't.
What's interesting is that you give that analogy. So I very publicly went through a weight loss transition.
Mhm.
Over the past year, I've lost close to 100 pounds, plus or minus. And
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
thank you, my love. Yeah, I had a mutual friend in a social circle tell me that she thought that I lost the weight because a friend of mine who also went through a weight loss transition, who's also an influencer, lost weight at the same time. And they were like, "We thought that you hopped on her trend." And so,
What?
yeah. And
How
so,
about you did it because you wanted to be healthy. You did it because you want to unleash and get off all the old baggage that you have carried for so many years. Why does it have to be because somebody else did it?
right. And so I thought that was a very interesting vantage point was that, and the person meant no harm by it, right? They just genuinely thought that the influencer person that also went through a weight loss transition was the reason why I was interested and starting a weight loss journey. But I had actually started the weight loss journey prior to this person even considering it. And it was because I documented my journey honestly and
Right.
openly with a medication.
Right.
I have zero shame that I was able to lose and sustain the amount that I have.
And you've done a great job.
Thank you. It helped me develop the lifestyle change and all of that. It's just part of my life now. I don't sit up here and, promote it to make money off of it or anything like that. If anybody is interested in it, I give my real vantage point of what I went
Right.
through, how I use it, how it worked for me. Whether or not you want to take it or not is on
Up
your
to
own.
you.
Right.
Right.
That's so funny. So, is jealousy always a sign of a fake friend or can it be normal in friendships? What are your thoughts on that
I
one?
think jealousy is normal in any relationship. particularly a friendship. Like you, if you are my friend, you should be happy that I'm successful. You should be happy that I have a great marriage. You should be happy that I'm making changes in my life to make myself better. When there is jealousy, and jealousy comes in so many forms, and friends make it seem like, no, I'm not jealous. I'm just stating facts to you. I'm just telling you what I like and what I don't like. No, that sounds a little jealous. I mean, people today, they say it's not jealousy. They like to say, man, I just want to tell you some hard truths about yourself that you don't recognize. And as you
Mm.
listen to those things, you're like, are those hard truths about me or are those hard truths about yourself that you can't wrap your head around
Which is
and
called
can't
projecting.
exactly. That's jealousy to me. And I hate that women particularly can't be happy for other women or can't jump on that bandwagon and go, "Oh my God, Amanda, I'm so excited for you. I love that you lost weight." It's like when you started your weight loss journey, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm walking every day too." Like you
That's
inspired me. Remember you and I were video texting
We
at
were
one
video
point?
chatting, yeah, yeah, when I was taking care of my dad and we were doing our walks together, absolutely.
Exactly. But you inspired me to do it, which inspired one of my friends to do it. And my thing is I'm not a medication person. I can't give myself shots. Just the thought of giving myself a shot, I'm like, oh, I don't like needles. I wish I could. But
Yeah,
it's taken me longer to lose the weight. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in and out of the same weight now. And
yeah,
but I'm doing mine differently. But you were like my inspiration.
I love
And
that,
one
thank
of my
you.
friends told me the same thing. But then somebody that sees you on social media, like, isn't that your cousin? Yeah. So are you doing the same thing she's doing? I'm like, no, I've been walking. Yeah, sure you have, Teen. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Now we're
You
being
know,
judgmental and we're jealous? I mean, come on.
that's so funny, it reminds me of when I was a kid, my brother being gay, they would be like, "Oh, are you gay too?" What?
No, I'm not.
Like,
I'm not.
just the dumb logic around nonsensical things like that,
But jealousy, but that jealousy gets packed in packages that's just so it's so
concentrated.
concentrated and it's blinding
Yeah.
because you don't want to believe that people literally hold that kind of resentment against you, and they do. It's
Yeah,
like I'm not gonna. We can talk about this part offline, but it's like when I went home, I made a comment. I was like, "Oh my god, Amanda looks so good. She's lost so much weight." Well, she's doing shots, and she's doing blah blah blah. And I'm well, yeah, she does that on social media. She tells everybody what she's using.
it
But
ain't
then
a
I
secret.
listened to how they said it, and I was like, "Are you jealous?" I'm
Yeah.
not jealous. I just don't think it's healthy. I just don't think it's blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, no, but it's what works for her. And I love it. I love the fact that you could share it with people. I love the fact that you're so open about it. But it bothered me that that person took that attitude.
Well,
It bothered
my mom has the same stance, and it comes out of a place of fear. It comes out of a place of unknown,
right,
because I will say that it could be dangerous
right,
for people who have co-occurring medical disorders.
right.
I came into this at 270 pounds, not diabetic, not having high blood pressure, no cholesterol issues, no co-occurring anything. I
Yes,
was just morbidly obese.
yes. We like to eat. You and I both.
So, therefore, the likelihood of me developing something that could hurt me or harm me was less likely. And then I also was under the direction of my primary care physician who gave me the shot. So
Right,
this wasn't something that I Googled online and was like, let me just try this out because I saw other people on social media doing it. I went to my doctor. My doctor was genuinely concerned about my health
right.
because the depression that I was in and the stagnation that I was in my life was creating the gain. And the only way for me to lose because I had hormonal issues was through the trial medication, Mounjaro, which
Right.
showed that people with these same hormonal issues, it worked. So I understand people that have that same vantage point of like, well, she didn't do it naturally, or she didn't do it this way, or she didn't do it that way. And I had to tell my mom at one point, I said, so you would rather me be morbidly obese and uncomfortable and unhealthy than taking charge of my life and
Right.
being able to now run and have a
Actually
healthy
run.
life
Yes.
and be able to actually prolong myself because obesity is a death sentence.
And in our family, absolutely. I mean,
Right. Right.
men and women.
And, the thing is that I have no shame in my game about what I do, how I do, when I do it. I've always been
Right.
public facing. My
Right.
problems will be everyone's problems. I
Right.
will not be silenced.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying though. Like you were my inspiration because I've always had a weight problem. I was 247 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm down to 159.
Okay.
But I did it the way was good for me. I'm a control freak, so I wanna control everything. I know when I need to go walking, on running, I know what I need to eat, how much I need to eat. I know I can't do ice cream, I can't do carbs, I can't do all those snacky things,
Right.
but that was the way I wanted to do it, but
That's right.
everybody thought, "Oh, well, your cousin's doing it, so, oh, you're doing it too,"
Yeah.
and I'm like, "No, but she's my inspiration." Like, I'm like, "Oh, man, I could do this, I could do this too. I'm
I
gonna
mean,
start walking." Like, you truly did inspire me to start walking and working out again.
and we did it together,
Di
and this was in 2023. And I remember specifically, I was in Louisiana for that whole summer taking care of my dad because we thought he was gonna die, and I was under such an insane amount of stress, and at that time, like I share in season 1 podcast, I was going through the breakup.
Mhm.
I did not realize until then, when I was at my dad's house, that I had not even talked to somebody that I was in a relationship at that time for 8 years for 30 days.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that we didn't even communicate the whole time I was caring for my dad, and I remember I was like, "Girl, I need to talk to you."
Yeah. I
Remember
remember we
and
talked about it. We talked about it for so
Right, and I
long.
called
Yeah.
you and I was like, "Hey, I really need to bounce some stuff off of you. I really think something is up with this dude." And I remember sitting on my Aunt Mag's swing, in the country, and we were just talking, and you're like, "Girl, you're gonna have to tighten that situation up when you go home."
Yep. Yep.
She's like and you were like, This is what you need to do. This is what you need to look for." He picked me up from the airport, and not even 3 weeks later,
It was
I
a
never
wrap.
talked to Yeah, it was a
It
wrap.
was a wrap.
I was like, "We're
See,
gonna."
the mere fact that you and I could share these things, see, even though we're cousins, I still consider us friends.
Yeah,
I would never do anything. I would never be jealous of you because I mean, I love you. I care about you. I look at what you're doing and I'm just like, this is a woman who's getting it done. But then I listen to like all the little chatter, chatter, chatter. I even see people online sometimes with their little tick, 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 tick. And I'm like, that's jealousy. Like, if you're
yeah,
supposed to be friends, and family's the worst friends to have
yeah.
because the jealousy is so deep rooted. Like, there's things that come out, and you're just like, what? Where did that
Well,
come
if
from?
you well, if you remember too, when I started my first of businesses, Thrifty 206, in the
Yes.
reselling world, I was met with so much resistance online from people that I knew, and they're like, "It's really tacky of you to tell us what you got it for and how much you flipped it for." I was like, "That's the same business model of any business in the country.
Any
Buy low,
smart
sell
business
high."
person. Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
And I was like, I was able to monetize that business way more than I make in my personal or my professional career. And I did that in my first year. And I've been in business for a decade.
And see, to me, that is jealousy. That is a form of jealousy. And me, I'm the cousin going, "Hey, what you got? Hey, I heard you had blah blah blah. This
And
is
you
what I
and
want."
you know what? Let's go ahead and talk about that, right? Because when I started my Amazon storefront, you were like, "I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna buy some things." And even no matter what I have done, you have shown up every single time. And there's a
Yeah.
few other people that in our family who have been silent supporters as well, and I appreciate them, 1000%. So, how do you distance yourself from a fake friend with unnecessary drama?
For me, I just stopped communicating. I'm always that friend that calls and checks on everybody. I'm that friend that picks up the phone and say, "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Just checking to make sure things are okay. Hey, how the kids doing? Hey." I'm always that friend. Here's what I did, and this is how I determine in my adult life today as we sit who my real friends were. I stopped calling everybody. I stopped calling family. I stopped calling everybody. I can look at my phone and tell you who I get calls from. I talk to you. I talk to Hope. I talk to my auntie Bobby. I talk to my cousin Topeka and my best friend Peter, all from Louisiana.
Yep.
My friends in Dallas and California, I stopped calling. Out of the 15 people that I thought were like, we were like this, tight, 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 two. I hear from two of them. I stopped. I stopped
Yeah.
doing it. I told my husband, I said, I can no longer continue to give myself, my energy, my love, my kindness, my openness, my heart to people and
Yeah.
I never get it back. I never get it back,
Yeah.
ever. And I said, "I gotta stop this because this is madness."
Yeah. And
But Amanda, it comes back and bites me in the butt though. You know why? Because here's what happened when I stopped calling people. Oh, you got that new promotion at work. Oh, you bought that new house. Oh, you blah blah blah. Oh, now you can't talk to people.
unnecessary drama.
Unnecessary drama. And I
Yeah.
can't
And
entertain it. I can't
yeah,
entertain it.
I mean, you will not get me to respond to that either. You will not get me to have a conversation about how you feel. I don't
No,
care.
I don't even bite at it. And so my circle of friends that I thought was nice and abundant, when I tell you it is dwindled down to a handful of people, and sometimes I'm not even gonna lie, it hurts because you always like to think I'm the popular person, I'm the fun person, I bring the party wherever I go, people always want to be around me. But I quickly have learned over the last 10 years that those people I thought all wanted to be around me resented me
Oh, yeah.
because they said, "I make things look so easy. You
Oh,
make
yeah.
things look so easy. Things come so easy to you." Not realizing how much work I put in behind the
Thank
scenes
you. The
to
sweat
make those
equity.
things happen. No,
The
they
sweat
don't
equity.
get it. And then so the jealousy comes in, they stop talking, and I'm just like, I really have no friends. And I'm gonna tell you who has been my ride or die friend all my life, hasn't changed, and it's Don Lemon. Don Lemon and I have been friends since kindergarten.
That's right.
And when I tell you ride or die, he is my ride or die. He could pick up the phone and call me at 2 o'clock in the morning. I could pick up the phone and call him at 2 o'clock in the morning. When he does great, I'm cheering him on. When shit hits the fan and falls apart, I'm there for him. And he
Yeah.
has been that same way for me.
And shit has hit the fan for homie.
Oh, shit has hit the fan all over the place for him. And
So,
he,
yeah. So we
he
are talking about the Don Lemon
yes,
that
from
that
CNN. Yes, yes.
that has had to shift. Our homie has had to shift quite
Well,
publicly
yeah,
recently.
yeah.
Testimony of true friendship.
Absolutely, absolutely, and but you know what though? Those people that I thought were our friends from back home, you should have seen how quick they turned on him
Yeah.
when he lost his job at CNN, and then how quickly they turned on me because I was still friends with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, people are so interesting when it comes to, we're just gonna say, a job, because there's Don, and then there's Don, right? There's Don that's attached to the public persona that has to do a job.
Yes,
And then there is the person who shows up that you've known since kindergarten. And both may align or cross a line and mimic each other, right? But people have to forget that just like when you go to work, you show up as who you're being paid to be. So
absolutely.
anything with a celebrity, which Don is, anything with, professional athletes, all of it, they're still humans.
Absolutely.
I was telling somebody the other day, I went to a concert at one of the major arenas here, and I was invited into one of the suites that's owned by a Seahawk player.
Mhm.
And everybody was like, "Oh, that's so cool. What's his name?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I said, "So and so," because like I don't watch football. I don't watch.
Right,
I don't
right.
know. You already know. Like I'm the worst. I'm the
Football
worst
player, I
tag
know what his
along.
name is, you know?
Yeah. And so I was, "Oh yeah, it's so and so." And people were, "Are you freaking kidding me right now?" And I was like, "Well, I move in different circles, and this just happened." But I'm like, I didn't know him as a professional athlete. I knew him as the owner of a business.
Right.
And because I own businesses and I was able to have a certain ability to move in certain circles. So, have you ever confronted a fake friend and how did they react?
Yeah. I had to confront a friend. So I'll take it back to Don. Don recently got married, and my husband and I.
Congratulations, Don, if you listen.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure he listens. He got married, and my husband and I went out, for like a week-long thing in New York for the
I
wedding.
remember.
And a guy that grew up with him, who I thought was friends with me as well, literally called me up and told me that he could not believe that I went to the wedding, blah, 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 blah. He didn't condone that he was marrying another guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, Don's been gay all our lives. Like, where's this coming from, you know?
Right.
But here's what I had to tell him. I was like, you know what? I said, I have known you for 30 plus years. You have known us for 30 plus years. Nothing has changed about me. Nothing has changed about him. But you have changed because you expect people to take whatever you say and we're supposed to go with it or be okay with it. I go, I'm not. I go, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to say anything negative about him. I'm not going to choose sides between you and him. And to be quite honest, I could tend to lose you for a friend and it'd be okay with me. And he was shocked. He was like, our parents have been friends forever. I can't believe that you would crush our friendship to stay friends with Don. And here's what I had to tell him. I was like, what have you done for me ever,
Mhm.
ever, but ask me to help you get Don to come talk at Southern, get Don to come and do this, get Don to come and do that? No.
Yeah.
You are a manipulator and a mover and shaker or a wannabe mover and shaker, and you like to use friendships to get you where you want to go.
So how did
I
he
won't
react
do
to
it.
that? Yeah.
Oh, he was angry. He is
Yeah.
still angry. Oh, he slayed me on social media.
What?
Slayed me, had the audacity to go on to Instagram and was saying, y'all need to remember where you came from. You need to remember your roots. You gotten high and mighty hanging with those boys in New York and blah blah. And I'm just like, I'm still the
Wow.
same old country baseball hat wearing, blue jean t-shirt wearing Tina. You can dress me up and put me in Gucci or Prada all day long, but guess what? Tina's gonna be Tina. But
Yeah.
he's still angry to this day.
So I'm gonna ask this. So what's the best way to protect your peace when you realize a friendship isn't real? Because that's what happened.
You move differently, because sometimes you can't get rid of that friend because sometimes they're attached to so many people that you do business with, that you work with, that you socialize with. You can't get rid of them. So you have to pick and choose how you move around them.
How
And
you
what I do,
respond.
oh my gosh, how you doing? Great seeing you, looking great, and I keep moving.
Keep
I'm not
pushing.
gonna I'm not gonna give you any information about me. You will never know what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, who I'm doing it with, because it all tends to boomerang and come back and bite me in the butt. It
Yeah.
never fails. And my husband has been telling me this for 15 years. He's like, he could spot. He'll look at all my girlfriends and go, fake, fake, fake as hell, fake as fuck. Get rid of her. Don't invite her to my house. Like for
No.
real. He does the
Yeah.
same thing with family members. Like them. Hell no. Mm-mm. Ain't trying to hear
Girl,
it. Like,
girl, I we're gonna have an offline conversation about that. So how do the fake friendships affect your mental health and your self-esteem? Because obviously you've known this person with Don for 30 plus years or however long you said, and you can't just like take it to the chin and be like, all right, cool. I mean,
yeah.
on the one part, it comes from the place of hurt. Of we're supposed to be friends with Don and we're supposed to be here to honor and protect him because I'm pretty sure that I feel like he had to protect his identity too publicly for a very long time.
He came out while he was at CNN.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that, when you have friends that you think are friends, and then you find out they're not, and he and I we talk about this all the time. Yeah, it hurts because you think to yourself, I put all this energy all these years. So how long have they been this disdain or had this disdain towards me or resentment towards me? Or how long have they felt this way? Have they been fake the whole time? And mentally, it makes you second guess and question everything you've done, and it
Yeah.
makes you move differently going forward. See, for me, my husband said I have a heart of ice. He said, I trust nobody. I question everything. I
That's
sit back in the cut. I
family
sit back
trait,
in the
girl.
cut and
Family
watch.
trait.
Yeah, I sit back in the cut and watch, and it takes a very long time for me to let anybody in.
Uh-huh.
And 9 out of 10, I don't.
Yeah.
I do it at work. I do it socially now. Family members, I don't care if you are a family member. Hey, bye, see you later, keep it moving.
Yeah.
And my husband said, sometimes that's a good trait. He goes, and sometimes that is the worst trait you can have because you could be bypassing somebody that really could be a good friend of you. But at this point in the game at my age, I'm not looking to get no new friends.
So
And
let
that may
me
sound so crude, but
yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, I moved to a brand new city 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago now, to Seattle from Texas. And probably I would say for the first 10 years out of the 11 years that I lived here, same. I was like, no new friends. I'm not trying to get to know anybody out here. I don't really like the way that people move. Everybody's passive aggressive, the Seattle freeze, things like that. And then when I was kind of over the hump for the majority of the breakup, I was like, wait a minute. What what if I've missed out on a lot of opportunities? So, as you know, and as you've watched me grow in this past year, I have moved exponentially because I have opened myself up to new people and new experiences. I will say I do use critical discernment on who I gather from these circles. I do not and I will not spend an insane amount of time with people whose energy is fucked up.
Right.
And
No, I'm with you on that one.
And I can go into a room immediately and be able to sniff it out. You know, I've been to all of these networking events, all of these co-working events, personally and professionally, and I will not talk to you if I mean, I may be cordial, right? And speak to you at that event, but that's as far as we're going to take it. And I may see you again and, same difference, but I am not going to exhaust energy into anything or anyone that I feel like does not align with anything that I'm doing. So, to kind of spin off of that, do fake friends tend to show up more during success or during struggles?
Fake friends always show up during success because they want everybody to believe that they were there while you were coming up. They want everybody to believe that they were a part of that. And one thing that I have more guy friends than I do female friends, and I ask my guy friends this all the time, particularly the ones that are athletes. I'm like, how do you guys deal with fake friends? You know what? My guy friends are like, "Oh, we just let it roll off our back. We don't even worry about it." I'm like, I think to myself, do women handle this differently than guys?
Absolutely.
Particularly, yeah, because guys that are athletes, they always got like a huge entourage around them. They know who's fake, they know who's blah, blah, blah. But they don't tend to care. I
Mm-mm.
think women get emotionally attached to those friends. So when you become successful, yeah, you want friends to celebrate in that. But then you're also sitting there going, are they really happy for me? Are they really happy for my success? You really weren't here, but I'm glad you're here to celebrate me. But again, it's a second guessing yourself the whole time. I have never had any friends show up for my success. I think they show up more during struggles, but not to support you. They show up to be nosy, to find out what happened. Why did you get in divorce? How did you lose your job? They don't show up for support. They show up to almost bask in the struggles that you have. I have never had out of my circle, I think I've had maybe one or two friends that were like, "Hey, what do you need? How can I help you? Let me lean on me. Tell me what you need. If you need to vent, give me a call. If you need to do this, let me know." Most of my female friends, they will not show up. They will, "Hey, I heard you lost your car. Hey, I heard you lost your house. I heard you lost your job. Girl, I heard you're getting divorced." They're not offering any support. They just want to get the deets so they can go and talk about it because to them, if you're failing, that makes them happy. I don't get that. Like, I don't get that at all. But when you're successful, "Oh, congratulations, that's great." And they keep it moving. They don't
Yeah.
ask any details. "Hey, I heard you got a promotion. Hey, I heard you guys got an award. Hey, I heard you did this." Nothing. "I heard your daughter did this." Nothing.
Yeah.
Zero. But again, that's why my circle has become so small. It's become
Mhm.
so small. And I used to cry about it. I used to get myself in this deep, dark place like, why do people not like me? What am I doing wrong? I'm such a good person. How come nobody calls to check on me? If I died today, would anybody care? If I jumped off the bridge, would anybody know? If I disappeared for a month, would anybody know? Kind of thing. And finally, I just had to stop and be like, you know what? Be thankful for the friends you do have around you that check on
Yeah.
you, because those are the ones that matter.
Mm.
Anybody outside of that, it's just extra BS that you don't need.
It takes a lot of introspection, right? It takes a lot of internal deep dives and realizing those long days, short nights, and saying all it takes is just one thing that has to happen to you for you to read the room, for you to understand. You know
Just you,
what?
though. It changes you as a person, though.
Yeah.
I had a friend from college that I met up with a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, you were always the happy go lucky, big heart, helping everybody. He goes, "You've gotten just like really distant and cold." And I said, "Really? You think so?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, we change, we grow up, nobody stays the same, kind of thing." But I thought about it driving home. And because I've gotten burned by so many fake friends, or I just burned that I even tend to cut the good people out.
Yeah. Well, your temperature is a lot shorter when it comes to capacity. And I mean, like, let's be completely honest. Everybody will dump on you if you allow them to.
Yes. Yes.
And it's
Yes.
exhausting.
It's exhausting, and, it's so funny, I posted something on social media one weekend, and I said, "Nobody ever calls to check on the strong person because they all like to think, 'You got it. You got it.'"
That meme has been floating around as well for ages, right?
Yeah. Nobody ever calls to check on the strong person, and, it's so funny because my cousin Hope, who I love, she calls me up. She's
Same.
like, "Hey, what's going on? I know we just talked last week, but what's going on? Everything okay?" She will
Yeah.
always have my back, call, make sure I don't need anything. And I think to myself, why can't I have everybody like that? But
But
it's
that's
not real.
because right, and that's because we put our expectation on how we show up, on how we think others should show up for us. So let's talk about how do fake friends differ in different areas? So, like in work, in relationships, in social circles, because everybody has their own pocket.
So at work, it's really funny at work because fake friends are friends because they want everybody at work to think, oh my God, I have a great relationship with Amanda. Oh my God, I got a relationship with Tina. Her and Amanda were together. Oh, let's put them on this project, something that help elevate them up. So fake friends at work is on a whole nother level, but it's all about securing the bag, getting yourself pushed up to the next level. And they don't care if they have to step on you or over you to get there. So I think I'm more comfortable with the fake friends at work because I expect it,
Yeah.
which is sad, but I expect it. So those don't bother me. Like they really don't bother me.
Like the
But
meme, when you see the meme, "What's old popcorn head doing today?"
I
You make
expect it.
yeah, you'll make a nickname for the little idiot at work real quick.
Absolutely.
And I saw
Absolutely.
something too, there was like a meme that was if you make a meme about or give somebody a nickname at work and then you get called into the office about that nickname. And so
But the ones at work don't bother. Now, social circles,
yeah.
you tend to handle them differently. I tend to handle them differently because you don't want to be viewed as the bitch. You don't want to be viewed as the bad guy all the time. So again, I move differently. I just pick and choose who I'm gonna, deal with. I know they're my faces. I know they're fake. But hey, I'm in a social scene. I do business with these people. I gotta tolerate it. I gotta deal with it. Move on. But then when I get to like the private side of my family or my private side of me, I handle those differently because those hurt the most.
Mhm.
Even when you still have to deal with them, in your mind, you're just like, yeah, I remember what you did 6 months ago. Yeah, I remember what you just did last week or what you said. Or, hey, I heard from such and such what you said about me, but you still got to keep that straight face. You still got to
Mhm.
keep that about you. And you let a lot roll off your back, particularly if it affects other people in that private side of your world. Here's what I tell everybody. Number one, I'm not little Tina. I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm an adult. Number two, you have no idea what transpired between me and this person prior to you dropping in because you wanted to show your face for a holiday. Three, if I don't know you, you have no grounds to step to me, ask me, or say anything to me. And if you do, be prepared to take everything that comes with it. Right. But see, the family slash friends, that's the sticky part because family that are friends, that are close, they still look at us as being young children or they're the elders and they still think that they can say anything and we're just gonna yes ma'am, no sir, yes
Baby, you
sir,
will
no.
never talk to me any type of way,
No,
okay?
no. And that's the thing.
Especially if you were not a part of my upbringing. Now,
Yes.
my you already know who the power players are in that family
Yep.
tree, okay?
Yes. And the thing about it is, it's that they pop up and actually think that they're doing something that they have a say so, but they pop up out of guilt.
How do you rebuild trust in friendships after being burned?
It's hard. I'm telling you, my husband says it all the time. He says, "You are not easy. You do not let people in." And the few new people that I have let in over the last 3 years, they have turned out to be great people, great friends. But my husband said that it's almost like I have a checklist, a list of
Mhm.
expectations, a list of this, a list of that. And if you miss one, you're kicked off the island. You're gone.
Girl, cutoff game is strong.
Yes. And here's the part about me. My daughter even said this. She said, "You cut people off so fast. I cut friends, I cut family. If you're not bringing any positive energy to my life, then you're part of the problem. You're
Part of
part
the
of the problem.
problem, straight up.
You're part of the problem. You're part of
Like,
the
and
problem."
And there's just no sensibility in carrying that on and allowing somebody to be able to continue harmful behaviors. Why do you have to think that I'm supposed to participate in your shenanigans? What part of you has missed the exit?
Right.
Because
Right,
we're
and
not.
I love when you cut those people out. They're like, "I can't believe you're doing this, Amanda. You know how long we've been friends?" And I look at them and I go, "I know how long I've been a friend to you.
Yeah, that part.
Can you say the same thing in return?"
Yep. So, what do you think the best way is to attract genuine supporter friends?
I no longer try to attract genuine friends. I stay true to my authentic self,
Yep.
my beliefs. I don't change. I don't put on a mask. I don't do anything different for anybody. You either accept me as I am or keep it moving. I no longer look for that. I always say if I'm going to get new friends or have new friends, God's going to put them on my chessboard where they need to be.
Yeah.
And if that chess piece stays empty, then it stays empty. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that. If you would have asked me that question 10 years ago, I would be going, oh my God, I try to do this and I'm going to do that. And then I was always such a pleaser. I don't give a shit anymore. I'm like, you know what? You don't like me? Kick rocks.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and
seriously.
I'm trying to teach my younger daughter. She's 24 years old. She always
Wow.
cares about who likes her, who doesn't like her. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, JJ, babe, you're gorgeous. When you walk in the room, I said, face card is never denied. Okay. You got the perfect personality. You bring energy to the room. Don't worry about what people say about you. If you know it's not you, keep it moving. You have your own little small pocket of friends. Don't worry about anybody else. But I wish somebody would have told that younger version of me that.
So back to the question, what to our younger generation, right? Because
Mhm.
we're old and tired at this point. Okay, like tired of it all. We have cutoff game is strong. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So for those who are still navigating life in their 20s, right? Because this really attests to them because we were a whole different version of ourselves 20 years ago. So what advice would you give that would be the basis of attracting genuine supportive friends at a younger age?
Right. So I tell my daughter and her friends all the time, I said, don't change who you are to attract other people because sometimes you attract the wrong people. Stay true to yourself, genuine to yourself. I said, and you always decide who your friends are. They need to give you the same energy that you give them. What you put into them, they need to pour back into you. And if they don't, it's no one chance, two chance, three chance, four. No, one time.
Yeah.
Because if you're good to that person and they burn you, they're going to continue to burn you over and over and over. I said, don't do what mommy did, where I keep giving chances, 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 and the same things kept happening. I said, that's called insanity. So don't do it.
Or maintaining friendships out of loyalty, right?
Loyalty, well, this younger generation has a very skewed view of what loyalty looks like. Back in the day, we were like, hey, if you dated him, I'm not dating him.
Uh,
That was off limits. That's not the case today. Loyalty is so different for this younger generation. I don't even think they know what loyalty means. And that's why I tell my daughter, I said, what you pour into somebody, they need to pour right back into you. If they're not giving you that same energy, if they're not trusting like you are, I go, you get rid of them quick. Don't let them come back. You get rid of them quick. Now, my daughter, she's got the cutoff game like we do. She will cut a friend to the quick and she will tell him, no, you're not adding any value to my life. I gotta let you go. And she does the same thing with guys. You're not bringing nothing to the table. Goodbye. Same with friends. Goodbye. And I'm not ever gonna tell her to change that because I think this day and age, you got to keep your circle small and tight. Because the larger that group gets, the more jealousy comes in, the more backstabbing comes in, the more I'm gonna get what she's got. I'm gonna take what she's got. They're not built for it. They're not built for it like we were. So
yeah.
I have to
No,
teach her in a
there
whole
it
different way.
is. Yeah, it is a very emotional generation for sure. All right, so last question, all right? What's one lesson you've learned from dealing with fake friends?
The one lesson that I have learned is not to lead with my heart because when I lead with my heart, it gets stumped, squashed, and kicked. So I lead with my gut. I lead with my first mind. What my first mind says, I always need to go with. Anytime I've led with my heart and did things from my heart, it's got me burned. And it took a long time to recover from a lot of them. A long time.
Yes. No, seriously, I mean, heartbreak in friendship is real.
And it hurts. It hurts worse than a breakup with the boy.
It can,
It
for
hurts.
sure. Oh, yeah.
Especially when you pour a lot into it.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and chat with me, and I love that you brought up this topic of fake friends, and I just really appreciate you always supporting me literally in everything I do. You are my cheerleader, you are bomb. As much as I inspire you, it is so mutual. I mean, every time that I talk to you, I swear I gain so many nuggets from vantage points and just discernment and validating me.
Yeah, I got you always. When I tell you I got your back, I got your back.
Yeah, and I love that, and I also love that it doesn't matter how much time passes by,
We pick up right where we left off.
we pick up right. No, I just appreciate you, and I just wanna do my little plug here saying that this podcast is and will always be about choosing yourself. Putting yourself first and understanding how to be seen after not feeling seen in your life. So, if anyone wants to let me know if they want to connect with me on my podcast, tease out any of the questions that Tina and I talked about tonight, let's get deep, let's get raw, and let's get in there. Thank you for listening to season 2, episode 4 of Solo in Seattle podcast. Thank you, Tina.
Bye.